And welcome back to another quick tutorial here. Today we're going to be looking at tools and tools in Premiere Pro. And if the tools in Premiere Pro are something that's really worthwhile knowing, and I think if you can learn how to really utilize these quickly, then you can find yourself doing a lot more things in Premiere that maybe you didn't realize that you could do before. So just so you're aware of what we've got here, we've got some temp footage here from some exercise files from a course I did a while ago. So we've just got some stock footage, very low resolution, but for the sake of what we're doing, it works fine. So this rough cut. So just so you're caught up to speed with what I've got here, I've got two timelines. One is the refined timeline, which is what I worked on before, and this is what we're starting off with. So this might be your first editor's rough cut. This is where you've got all the clips that you want, that you think are important and that are good. And you might give this. You probably wouldn't show this to a director, but you might do if you're working closely with them, just so they can choose the clips that they want. So let's sort of dive in here. Just before we start, just in case you're wondering how to change the color of these things, you can see that we've got three sort of scenes, I guess, or little sequences. We've got them sat around the campfire during the day. We've got them talking around the campfire a little bit later in the evening, and then we've got this nighttime stuff, also where he's talking about giving them the coins. Okay, so we're just in this exercise. We're just going to use this to run through the tools. So I'm just going to change the layout ever so slightly of this, just so I could just do a layout that I use a lot more. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring this window. I'm literally going to hold where it says project, and I'm just going to drag it up into there. Okay, and I'm going to drag all of these up into here like this. Okay, and what this does is it gives me a nice big edit window. I'm just going to shift this in, so I've got these all down the side. I'm also just going to take this audio levels and I'm just going to put it here on the side like that. Sometimes it might do that, makes it very big, so you just resize it. And what this does, it just allows me to see my levels in a bit more detail. Okay, so in this exercise we're just going to run through tools. Okay, so by default you will most likely be using the selection tool, which is the V. Just so you know, we're going to run down the tools from top to bottom on the standard layout. Okay, so by default you'll have selection tool. You can get to selection tool by clicking V, and this is what you can use to select clips, move clips about, and also what you can use is our red tools. Okay, and what this is going to do, just if I show you, for example, if we wanted to take these, see, we're going to use red. So with our red tool, if we bring this clip in, what that's going to do, it's going to create a gap there. Okay, they're very helpful for some things, but again, you can use this as you may want it. Now, little tip, great tip. If you press Alt or the Option key on your keyboard, and you hold down, you will only affect that one track. Okay, tracks are sort of, if you imagine it like a track on a race course, tracks are the individual lanes. So you can see, so it's just affected that one track and it's kept the audio underneath here, and it's still linked and everything like that, and we can move it around. Okay. Very helpful, and again you can do that to the audio as well. So let's say we had a clip here where they're talking. Actually, let's do a slightly different clip, just one that I would actually use. So let's say
her staff.
So what we might do is put that on a different layer. So we've got this clip. This is just trimmed here for the sake of ease. So you might decide that you want to fade in the volume a little bit, and you know that you've got a bit more clip on this side. So you're going to drag that out into there, and you can see there how you could have a bit of overlapping audio. And if I make the track a little bit bigger by clicking on the bottom or the top of the track on here, I want to make this track Air 2 clip, you can see we open our keyframes. Our keyframes are, by default, their volume. You can change them to be other things, but for most of the time you would want it to be volume. So you can see I might add a keyframe there and a keyframe there. Drag that keyframe down. So you're essentially creating a fade in. And you can see how then the audio would fade in before the clip.
Do you have any advice for us?
And that will help just keep that audio transition clean, but these two clips are still linked. Okay? So, and that can be accessed pressing V. Okay? So the next track on the next tool on the thing down is our track selection forwards and our track selection backwards. Okay, so our track selection forwards, what that does is of your cursor here, it will select anything upstream, if you will, of where your cursor is. So if I hold this down here, if I just click there, all that's done is selected everything that's upstream of there. Okay, and then what you can do is you can move that around. You can bring that up. You can even move it. You can even move it up in layers if you wanted to. And what that's going to do, and you can change it on the fly if you wanted to. Now, let's say you only wanted to affect one side of the clip. Okay, you only wanted to affect one layer. Let's say we want to move this around. Actually, let's say that we've got these two clips on the timeline, and we want to move these two clips up. What we would do is we would press our track selector, press Shift, and what that's going to do is that's going to select everything on just one layer and everything that's linked to it. So you can see here how we can move that around. Now, if you wanted to, when you've got all this selected, if you don't want to keep this selector tool, you could just press V, and that's going to keep your selection so you can move things around. Because, for example, if you want to select this clip, you would keep holding Shift, and then you can see there how you've got that selected. Okay, and you've got your backwards tool, which you can access by hitting Shift A, and what that's going to do is exactly the same. It's just going to go everything before your cursor. Okay, you can see there how that's going to affect that. So if if we wanted to select everything before that, and when we wanted to move it up, oops, then we could just move that all the way up. So let's say we wanted this clip to be the bigger one. Okay? And again, that works exactly the same. If you hold down Shift, it's only going to select things on that one track. Okay? So that's very helpful for moving around large portions of your timeline. Okay, so the next tools are very, very helpful. This ripple edit tool, very, very important, cool feature of Premiere. So what it is if you then click this, as you would with your selection tool, your red tool, this time you'll see it's yellow. I know that it's a bit difficult to see there because it's tan. It's more orange, I guess, but so you can see there how. So when you would move it this time, it looks the same, except when you let go, so when you find the point that you want to trim, it's going to snap it up. It's going to snap that gap. So it's going to keep the edit in place.
15 to 20 minutes.
So for example, you can see here, this guy here, sat here, maybe we just want him to start clapping. Now if you were to use the selection tool, you would have to do that, and then bring that up, and then you've got more gaps then. But if you just clicked B, which is the shortcut, and then you could do that, trim it, and then you can see that's just integrated that very nicely into there. Okay, and if we wanted to use the B selector tool as well, we could hit Alt and then just apply that maybe just so we get a bit of crossfade coming in. Okay.
About 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay. If you have audio and your clip on a different level, but you only want to trim the video. For example, if you want to create what's called a J cut or an L cut, and for example where the audio fades in, comes in a little bit before the clip does, you can hold down B, but again, if you just press Alt, you will only ripple the clip that you have selected. So you can see there what it's done is it's brought the video up, but it's kept the audio in place. So this way the audio will come in slightly quicker. It will come in before the clip itself. And then you can edit that and maybe add a keyframe. Okay? So you can see there how you could do something like that. And that's very, very helpful, this stuff. Again, these tools, there's another editing software called Avid, and Avid has boasted about these types of tools before, but Premiere does have them. You just need to know where to look. Okay, so if you hold down click, you will get to see our other menus, and what we're going to go now is our rolling edit tool. And what that is, so in order to use this, I need to make sure that there's a bit of clip on either side, and a bit of clip on either side of there. So I'm just going to trim that up. See, I know that there's remaining clips on either side here. But let's say I just didn't like where it was falling, but I liked sort of the position of everything. I just maybe want him to come in a little bit earlier. So let's say actually we did that. We've got some clips here of him talking. Okay, but I want him to come in a little bit later. Okay, so I'm going to press N on my keyboard, or I could go in there, hold down this button, and then I get to that tool. And then what this does is if you get on here and click on it, you see it's going to highlight the edit point. Okay, when it's in red, like a highlight like that, that's the edit point. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll it up. So you can see here how it's making the previous clip longer, and it's making the clip to the left, clip to the right even, a little bit shorter. But it's keeping all the positions in place.
At 0900.
Okay, so we're just going to do that again, so you can see how you can move it around, and it doesn't move anything; it just moves the edit point. And again, if you wanted to, you could just hold down Alt, and it's just going to apply to a track. So you can keep your audio in place.
At 0900, it's going to take active. At 0900, it's going to take.
Okay, so you can see how you can create something there. Okay, now I'm just going to undo all that, just so we're back to square one. Okay, and the clip underneath that is our rate stretch tool. I'm not sure why they put this in here. It's a little bit, doesn't really belong with the other tools, but it's a useful tool. What rate stretch does is it allows you to more manually and slightly differently approach the speed of a tool, the speed of a clip. So let's say, we're just going to go into a scene here. Let's say we've got a nice clip here of the leg. Okay, so we're going to just shift all this up, put this in here. But you can see that's way too long. But let's say I like the look of it. You know, I want to include the whole thing. So what I would do is I would go and click on my rate stretch, or click on R for rate, and I could move this up. And what that's going to do is it's giving the impression of making the clip shorter, and it's actually speeding the clip up. So if I take that clip all the way here, you can see how that clip is now moving very, very quickly, because with rate stretch, I have determined how long that clip is. Okay, it doesn't change the in and out points; it changes the speed of the clip. Okay, again, very helpful if maybe you're editing to a beat or to a music track or something like that. Very, very helpful for that sort of thing. Okay, very, very simple tool to use as well. Just use a rate stretch. But it doesn't work with Shift and Alt. You can't just affect one or the other. You have to affect the entire clip. Okay. So the next tool we're going to go down is the Razor tool. Now the Razor tool is a very simple tool. It's just wherever your cursor is, you click it, and it just creates an edit point there. It just cuts the clip in half exactly at your edit point. Okay. Again, helpful if you want to split a clip up or anything like that. So if you, by default, it will only affect the clip that your cursor is hovering over. If you press down Shift, that's going to get the big razor out, and that's going to create a cut across all layers, video and audio. Okay, so just regular. It's just will affect the clip that you're working on, and if you hold down Shift, it's going to affect every track. Okay, very, very simple, and that you get that by pressing C. You might think of it as C for cut, or you know, I guess, yeah, it's however you want to remember it, really. Okay, so we're going to move on to next the slip and the slide tool. Now these are quite interesting tools. So let's say we've got this clip and we quite like it, and so just doing some quick. Okay, so you can see here how there's that. Now, but what we might want is we might want him to start clapping around here. But we don't want to go in. We know that the clip is in there and we like the link, but we don't want to go messing around with it. So what we might use is the slip tool. And what that's going to do, we click on that. And what that's actually going to do is it's going to allow us to move the clip up and down. The clip, you see it is jittering a lot, and that's a little bit of a bug in Premiere. So you have to sort of be able to look through the jitter. But you can see there how we can use our new in and out points, and it tells us what the clip either side is, which is helpful. Those are the top left and top right, and our bottom left and bottom right, those are our new in and out points, and we can drag this clip all the way up. So we can see here how we might want to start it. So you can see how we've done this. We've now gone from him. We've gone from him starting out doing this. Okay, and we're going to shift that up so he starts clapping now when we want him to. Okay, so we're going to use the slip tool, and we're going to slip it up so he's now starting to clap at the end there. You can see how. And he now starts clapping with everyone else. Okay. Now, we haven't changed our edit points, but we have changed the clips in and out points. Okay, we haven't changed the duration or anything like that. Now the next tool underneath that is the slide tool. Now this is a little bit of a weird tool. I do think that this works a bit better in Avid. But what this does is it allows you to, again, it keeps the in and out points the same, but it allows you to shift up the clips where there's room to shift them up, and you can sort of move it up the clip like that.
900 is good.
So what it allows you to do is you can just move the clip up like that without changing the in and out point, so we still get that, but it just changes clips around it to be a little bit different. So let's say, for example, you wanted him to start clapping a little bit later. Let's say you wanted him to start clapping there. You might shift that up. And what this does is it takes the information either side of your clip,
20 minutes.
and it just changes that ever so slightly. Okay, I don't use the slide tool very much. I think the slip tool is very good though. You can move that. So yeah, but that's just what the slide tool is. You might find that you're getting restricted a lot with it. You know, if you've got lots of clips, you need a lot of clip either side for it to really work. Okay, so as you can see, those are the main tools in Premiere Pro. Those are our main editing tools, and Premiere does give you a few other a few other tools as well. These last three, these bottom three. Well, actually, let's go into skip the pen tool, and let's go into the hand and zoom tool. These are more navigation of your sequence. So the hand tool is a way for you to sort of grab on and pull your viewer up and down the timeline, without having to move anything. You can also do this by just scrolling the wheel. I've got a magic mouse, so I can just scroll sideways. But if you haven't got that, then you might want to use the hand tool. You've also got the zoom tool, which if by default is on plus, so that means you're going to zoom in. But if you just press Alt, or Option, you will zoom out. You can see it's just going to zoom out all the way there. Okay. Now Premiere gives you some graphics tools as well. So we're going to start with the pen tool here. And what this is it allows you to draw some shapes if you want to, and then it's going to insert them as a shape in there that you could use. So you can do that. If you hold down the pen tool, you can get to the rectangle tool, which creates a rectangle, just a plain shape, which is quite helpful. And if you click the Ellipse tool, then it creates a circle. Okay. The type tool, you add that in, and it's going to create some type for you to type away. Oops. It's going to do that. You've also got a vertical type tool here, which is going to create it looking like that. Okay, you can see there how you've got that there. Okay. Now there is just a few more quick things that I want to run over, and these are in terms of your editing points. Okay, this is a little bit higher level, but if you follow along, hopefully, then it should make sense. So if you hold down Command and you hover over and you go to select, what that's going to do is it's going to select your edit points. Okay, and you can see there because it's red. Okay, now if I click that, it's going to open our edit window, if you will, our sort of timeline window. And what this is like using the rolling edit tool, so the M tool. Okay. So what this allows us to do, and you can see here how we've got a few different options here. We've got our trim forwards and backwards. We can apply a transition, or we could trim forwards. Okay. So if I want to just trim this forward one clip, one frame even, you can see what that's going to do. Just like the rolling edit, it's going to just roll me forward a few frames. And what it's going to do here, you can see it's telling us how much it's out of sync. Okay, now you can see you can plus or add 5 if you want to, and you can see now how you can also trim backwards to make the rolling edit that way. Okay, so you can use that again. If you're happy with the placement, but you just want to move an edit up a little bit, you can do this, and you can click that. You can apply the default transition, which usually is a fade, and what that's going to do is just going to apply a 1 second fade onto things. Okay. Now you can just click the transition and delete it, but you can see how you can do that. Okay. And just a reminder, you get to that trim window by holding down Command and then hovering over your clips. Okay. Now, if you've got something like this, you may want to go to here, and what that's going to do is it's going to jump you to the nearest window. Now you can press that, and you can literally move it up if you wanted to, and press play. And you can see what that's going to do is it's going to do a full rolling edit for where your playhead was. Now if you press J, you can reverse that and go back. But you can see how maybe you wouldn't want to do that, and it's going to tell you the different times as well. Okay, but let's say you want to just keep it sort of where it was. You can easily find that. Again, I don't really use that too much because I like to sort of feel it and sort of quite quickly go, and I can quite quickly tell if an edit is right, but some people find it very, very helpful to use. Okay. So you can do that. So that's a little quick run through of a lot of the tools, and you can see how you might quickly be able to build up your sequences into something like this, into this little sequence, because you can see here we've got the audio from this clip is playing underneath, and for example this clip has a much shorter, has a much longer audio side underneath it. And you can see there how we've built up a lot of these clips. So you can see there. That was a little quick run through of the tools in Premiere Pro. If you'd like me to go into a little bit more detail or maybe some different scenarios, you can see here we're using very, very simple clips, and as your timelines get bigger and more complicated, it's just remembering that these tools are here, and they really do help keeping that timeline nice and locked, so you're spending more time actually doing the editing and not moving clips around, because that's not very helpful. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you enjoyed it. Again, going into a little bit more higher level stuff here, but hopefully a way for you to start leveling up your editing, just the speed and the efficiency of your edits. So thank you. Please leave a comment if you want to see of what you might want to see next. I'm happy to do other softwares as well, but I'm also very happy to keep going in Premiere if you have anything specific that you want to see. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.